first hand with what really has been or what really are the issues which have been agitating the minds of women journalists, people who are in the public space, and what steps do they think are appropriate or required to be able to surmount some of the specific issues which need to be addressed. I thank Dr. Rajput for having led me through the entire drift of the discussion, and as she said that what she articulated was fresh from the oven. I'm sure that we also would not only take it with the seriousness it deserves, but try and see that whatever is possible in the interim, while you finalize your recommendations, we could possibly act upon. Before I launch into my limited understanding of the media space as I see it, I would like to request this august House that if you have between 3 or 5 recommendations which you think are doable in the short term, and since issues pertaining to women I don't think will get constrained by the model code of conduct kicking in, so therefore even if we give ourselves the next 60 or 75 days, let me see as to out of those 5, how many are we able to implement. So if we can have a set of 3 to 5 recommendations which you think are doable given the time constraint, we would definitely like to see as to how we can address them. With regard to the last issue that you flagged, the Women's Reservation Bill, as you are aware, it's been passed in the Rajya Sabha. We've been trying to build a consensus on it in the Lok Sabha. Yes, there is resistance, which all of you are aware of. But as I understand from the discussions which we've had in the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, that government is committed to putting it onto the table of the Lok Sabha in this very last session of the 15th Lok Sabha. So therefore, that is insofar as the women's reservation is concerned. About women in media, well, a large number of practitioners in this room possibly understand the media space much better than I do. But if we were to segment it, if we were to look at media in terms of 3 verticals, the print, the electronic, and the new media, I think each of them has its own very peculiar and unique characteristics. And then we could possibly try and see if we can superimpose a common narrative in terms of action points which run through all 3 of them, which can really help to address some of the issues which have been raised. The advantage with print media is that you have the time for reflection between what you assimilate and ultimately what is reported. And I think that time of reflection gives everybody a chance to possibly insert an element of sensitivity where an element of sensitivity is required. And so therefore you would find that reportage in the print media with regard to sensitive issues is at times far more nuanced, far more balanced, and far more sensitive, to say the least. The difficulty with the print, with the electronic media, is of a different nature altogether. I have articulated this earlier, and I have no hesitation in saying it, though it's my personal view, that possibly the liberalization of the electronic media space and the manner in which it has happened is possibly one of the most corrosive legacies of economic liberalization. And the reason why I say that, and I say that with a full sense of responsibility, is because what I could understand as a lawyer when I came to this job was that possibly this was the only sector where a legal or a regulatory framework had succeeded the opening up of the sector rather than preceded it. So therefore, what you have in the electronic media space, and since for 5 years I had the opportunity of interacting with the front end of the media, and over the last 1.5 years, an opportunity to look at the back end of the media, and I can say that the first interaction was absolutely a pleasure, and that's not to say that the second is a nightmare, but be that as it may. The fact is that you have close to 798 television channels as we speak. Out of those 798 television channels, there are 415 news and current affairs channels. And news and current affairs occupies only 7% of the media space, which is made up of about 15.5 crore households, television households, at the last count.